People, you are watching a movie. Everything is corrupt. So yeah, your last and only option is the military. The military is the only one who can arrest people because Trump's entire authoritarian administration from top to bottom will be making America great. Good morning, America. Steve Buck, your host of the Dream Life podcast with you here. Good stuff, free golden nuggets. Lots of golden nuggets here at the Dream Life podcast, and you don't have to pay for them. So free golden nuggets. We're going to start off with letters from the anti-New York Times. I'm going to rehash one of them, which was his October 6, 2024. And he's got this one on Butler, Pennsylvania. So we're going to dig into it a little bit. The New York Times were reporting on Donald Trump's brave return to Butler, Pennsylvania, after Trump and the military did a reverse psyop on the scum of the earth Satanists, okay, and gave them a false flag assassination attempt just to show them that Trump can present false flags, false shootings, okay, all towards the object of winning the information war that's going on right now and it's been going on for 70 years. But now you've got reverse psyops and reverse information warfare coming back from our military, headed back towards the deep state. So here, I want you to understand what the reverse psyop is doing and what it's showing. So this reverse psyop it's basically to make Donald Trump look like he's brave. He's not afraid to return back to the place where somebody, tried to assassinate him. And for the normal person who thinks that there was a real assassination attempt and, oh my God, he got by just by the skin of his teeth because he turned his head at the last minute. Okay. That's presentation for normal people. And maybe there's a lot of normal people watching what I'm talking about right here, but I'm speaking directly to the Q people, to the QAnon, the Anons of the Q community that know that was just a reverse psyop. That wasn't a real assassination attempt. The thing that you need to understand is the military is in full control of everything. The media, the New York Post, the New York Times, they're in control of everything because this is an information war, and the military needs to force them to play their game on their terms of the law of war manual regulations that says that the military can come in and tell anybody what to do because of martial law. Mike shows a picture of the fake Elon Musk. In a lot of these rallies, we don't know if the real Donald Trump even shows up at a lot of these rallies because his life is in danger. And so with CGI and with actors and masks and everything, the fact of the matter is that we don't know to what extent and lengths that the military is going through to keep Donald Trump safe from assassination. But if you look at this photo, you definitely could see that this is a fake Elon Musk because that person there doesn't look anything like Elon Musk. So Mike says, the New York Times headlines, Trump returns to site of July assassination attempt. Elon Musk jumped for Trump at Butler rally. Widow of man killed in July attack on Trump returns for rally. And here's the rebuttal by the anti-New York Times. What a spectacle packed with Q comms or communications that White House Productions put on in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday night. The town of Butler, you guys will recall, was a scene of the fake assassination attempt on Commander Trump and the fake murder of firefighter Corey Comparator on July 13th. The main bad guys of the that act were the shooter, whose name was, quote unquote, Thomas Crooks. He wasn't a shooter at all. And the enabler, Kimberly Cheadle of the U.S. Secret Service. Yes, I know they made it look real, and I know that they made it look like Congress did a hearing on this and all that. People, you are watching a movie. All of this stuff is reverse psyop, information warfare put on by yours truly, the United States military. So Michael goes on to say, the cheat enabled the crook. Get it? Too funny. Most notably, the facially distorted imposter Elon Musk was at the Remembrance Rally wearing a black Make America Great hat and a shirt reading Occupy Mars. Underneath a sport coat, Trump then spoke of reaching Mars in his next term. An apparent cryptic reference to the military auxiliary radio system to be used for emergency broadcasting. Part of this information warfare is they're giving us comms, okay? They're not talking about the fictitious planet they call Mars. People, we live in a realm, okay? Within our realm, there's some round thing up there in the sky that, you know, NASA has decided to call the planet Mars. I believe what Nikola Tesla said in regard to our world, that we're an enclosed system, okay? The Bible teaches us about the earthly realm, the heavenly realm, and God only knows how many different realms there are, but I do not believe that we live on a planet. I believe that we live in an enclosed system. That's not what we're here for today. But I have to make that comment because of the fact that, you know, some people think that Elon Musk was talking about actually going and living on Mars. Now, this was a comm to people who are paying attention that very, very soon, as we get into the storm, it's going to reach a point in time where the military auxiliary radio system will be used when we have the 10 days of darkness coming, where the internet will be shut off, the news will be shut off, nobody will be going anywhere, nobody will be doing anything except for if you're dying and you got to go to the hospital. That's the only thing that's going to be happening. Or if you're delivering a baby. That's it. No funerals, no burying of the dead. That's it. The only thing they're going to do is help people who are sick and dying and deliver babies. That's it. Everything else is going to come to a screeching halt. The guest list also included the crisis acting widow of Mr. Comparator. Okay. Again, false flag, fake shooting. It wasn't fake, okay? This is reverse psyop. The sister and two daughters of the fictitious fallen firefighter. There were a total of 7 congressional dignitaries in attendance, 4 of them from Pennsylvania, as one would expect because it's in Pennsylvania, but 2 from faraway Florida and 1 all the way from Texas, as one would not really expect. The 3 oddly out-of-state representatives present were Ronnie Jackson, Corey Mills, and Mike Waltz. Having previously researched this recent phenomenon of special forces operatives and other veterans running for offices across the country in highly unusual numbers, the bells here are at editorial board of the Anti-New York Times immediately began ringing. Here are the affiliations. Ronnie Jackson was a U.S. Navy Rear Admiral. Mills was a U.S. Army 82nd Airborne combat soldier. And Waltz was a U.S. Army Green Beret, and he was a combat decorated. The Q post of military is the only way also rings a bell. Okay, now This Comparator firefighter, he was also previous military as well. Just saying. And Mike says down here, they put up the statue, tough as nails, at the Butler Rally site. A life-size statue of the commander made entirely from nails was unveiled. Donald Trump, quote-unquote, consoles the crisis-acting ladies of the Comparator family. They have nothing to grieve about because nobody died. But it's part of the information warfare battle. And again, we already talked about Elon Musk jumping for joy supporting Donald Trump. The Mars Quest, President Trump and Elon Musk's grand vision. Trump and Elon Musk were not actually talking about going to the planet Mars, but by activating the military auxiliary radio system. Okay. And here are our fine military men working with Trump on the Q plan. The presence of Representative Corey Mills was especially intriguing because Mills, along with Representative Eli Crane of Arizona, a former Navy SEAL, you see the military popping up everywhere, people, are the two congressmen boldly spearheading the July 13 was an inside job movement, which is not going away. This adds further weight to our belief that the July 13 play was a false flag, which, for the benefit of normiedom, will in due time be pinned on already executed deep state players, thus opening the door to revisiting the real attempts on Reagan in 1981 and the brothers Kennedy during the 1960s. So what you need to understand is the truth of January 6th will come out, and it will be shown that the deep state players tried to hijack that, but the military took and they turned the tables back on them. A shorter, younger-looking Trump himself gave the clearest indication yet as to where this play is going. Addressing the massive crowd in attendance and many millions watching both on TV and online. Over the past 8 years, those who want to stop us from achieving this future have slandered me, impeached me, indicted me, tried to throw me off the ballot, and who knows, maybe even tried to kill me. Well, just to be clear, there was well over 25 attempts on Trump's life. It just so happens that the one that they showed was a false flag, reverse psyop on the deep state, with Trump showing them, yeah, you tried to kill me, okay, but here, just for fun and games, we're going to show you that we can pull the same bullshit on the people. Only we can use it for my benefit instead of your gun control agenda. Hat tip to David News Treasons for spotting a 2020 rally image from Trump's Twitter account. The location was Butler, Pennsylvania. Oh, by the way, you know who else was present? An opera singer who, yet again, belted out Nessun Dorma, the revenge song from the climactic execution scenes of the Sum of All Fears. Trump and the Q team were communicating to us who were paying attention was the fact that behind the scenes, the assassins are taking out the satanic cabal, deep state players, okay? That's why Trump had an opera singer there, was to communicate that, is that people who are paying attention, you may not see them, you may not hear them, But be advised, the assassins are taking out the scum. So Mike says, what Q says, trust the plan. 1 and 2 rally attendees hold up signs reading, fight, 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 a slogan which originated with Q in 2018. Military operatives Crane and Pinzer are leading the congressional investigation, which will ultimately frame the deep state for the fake events of July 13th, because they had planned on trying to take out Trump. Okay. And so now, because they caught them ahead of time, now they can still prosecute them for the conspiracy to assassinate him. Gabby Giffords asked supporters to fight, fight, fight for gun control. The Hill, Giffords to gun control advocates. Fight, fight, fight. Former Representative Gabby Giffords, Democrat from Arizona, on Wednesday urged gun control advocates to never stop fighting in a speech outside the Capitol. Hat tip to Liz for reminding us that fight, fight, fight for gun control was the marketing slogan used by Arizona Communist Congresswoman Gabby Giffords after her own fake shooting in 2011. Her husband, astronaut Mark Kelly, is currently, in quotation marks, because we believe he's been taken out already as a treasonous scum, is, quote unquote, currently a U.S. Senator, now Mark Kelly. The White Hats are mocking the deep state players by staging false flag fakes themselves and then using their own slogans against them. Here's a picture of the opera singer singing Nessun Dorma, and Donald Trump just sitting back, smiling, saying, yep, I got my assassins in the military out taking care of business. Kicking ass and taking names just like Abraham Lincoln did. The classic operatic Nessun Dorma was yet again sung at the end of the Butler rally just after Trump drew an obvious pair of air cues, which he does this. He spins his finger and then he puts the cue. The song, as we know, played in the background of the execution scene from The Sum of All Fears, a film which Q told us to watch, in which deep staters are executed after attacking Baltimore and then trying to kill the U.S. president in an effort to pit Russia and the U.S. into a false flag-induced World War III. So now I want to go over to the October 18th anti-New York Times article by Mike King. Q post number 35 said on November 1st, 2017, POTUS, President of the United States, will be well insulated / protected on Air Force One and abroad. Specific locations are classified while these operations are conducted. We don't know to what extent that the U.S. military is going to protect Donald Trump. So we don't know if he's got a body double, if it's really Trump. You know, Donald Trump's life is at risk every second of every day in the most conspicuous way possible. Okay, because of the fact that he is still the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and he is the sitting president of the U.S. And so Mike just points out that on this person who could possibly be a Trump double, okay, look at the hairline here, okay? It's not the typical comb over, because Donald Trump's hairline on the real Donald Trump doesn't come up to here. That's why he has to do the comb over, is because he doesn't have this hair right here. His hairline's back in here, and he swoops around the comb over to bring it forward. And so Mike shows in this photo, okay, what looks to be resemblance of mask contribution right here. Trump needs to be protected. He needs to be insulated. He can't be out in the public every minute of every day, putting himself at risk. And the deep state knows that. The deep state knows that the military is not going to put the real Donald Trump out on stage without any protection or glass or anything. We're not going to get into the fake assassination attempt, but given the danger that Trump is under, that there's no way in hell he's going to be at a rally with no glass protection or anything where somebody could take him out with a drone. I mean, there's 1,000 ways that they could kill Trump. New York Times. Trump escalates threat to political opponents he deems the enemy. Never before has a presidential nominee openly suggested turning the military on Americans simply because they oppose his candidacy. With voting underway, Donald Trump has turned to dark vows of retribution. The retribution, everybody, you need to understand, it's not against Americans who are against voting for Trump. His retribution is for treasonous bastards who tried to destroy our country. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about scumbag who have earned their position in hell, and Donald Trump is the man who's about to send them there. So the rebuttal now of the anti-New York Times, Mike King. As we approach the grand finale of this grueling 8-year plan to eradicate the globalist cabal using non-kinetic information warfare, undetectable by the captive subjects of normiedom, not a day passes by without Commander Trump or one of his magnificent minions promising to mete out retribution and justice to the government and media evildoers. They're imposters, actually, because the military, everything that you see on the news, everything that you see put in newspapers, everything right now is controlled by the military and has a very counter, reverse psyop specific angle that it's producing. Complementing and amplifying such threats and doing so by design are countless predictive programming stories such as this one, which portray the coming reenacted bloodbath not so much as something for the public to be terrified of and should mobilize to prevent, but rather a coming, oh well, it is what it is sort of event, which no one can stop. From the new and constantly improving Q York Times. With 3 weeks left before Election Day, former President Donald J. Trump is pushing to the forefront of his campaign a menacing political threat that he would use the power of the presidency to crush those who disagree with him. Well, not those who disagree with him, but those who have committed treason. In a Fox News interview on Sunday, Mr. Trump framed Democrats as pernicious enemy from within that would cause chaos on Election Day that he speculated the National Guard might need to handle. A day later, he closed his remarks to a crowd at what was billed as a town hall in Pennsylvania with a stark message about his political opponents. They are so bad, and frankly, they're evil, Mr. Trump said. They're evil. What they've done, they've weaponized our elections. They've done things that nobody thought was even possible, which there he's speaking about the treason and the crimes against the children, the ritual abuse and murder of kids in order to produce their adrenochrome drug. Never before has a presidential nominee, let alone a former president, openly suggested turning the military on American citizens simply because they oppose his candidacy. He's not turning the military on law-abiding American citizens. He's turning the military loose on the criminals. And at the end of the day, once people find out, that they're going to say yes. You know, if with all the other captured operations, they've captured the judges, and they've captured the big corporations and the universities and the schools and the judges. They've captured everything. Everything is corrupt. So yeah, your last and only option is the military. The military is the only one who can arrest people, because the Department of Justice, they're not doing their job because they're all corrupt. In order to maintain street credibility in the eyes of the libtards and the normies, who basically worship the paper of record, there is a sprinkling of some obligatory alarmism contained in the article. But all in all, the tone of this article and all others is mainly one of subdued resignation and passive acceptance of what is to come. This is psychological warfare, PSYOPs. When I say PSYOPs and reverse PSYOPs, it's psychological warfare, information warfare. At its finest, a deliberate demoralization of opposition libtardia in advance of the coming climax. Editor's note: much of the military operation and political purges have already taking place after Trump's cryptic proclamation of the Insurrection Act on January 6th of 2021 and remaining ongoing. The drama to come will part be real and part play acted or replayed, because of the fact that the wheels of justice turn slowly. The military had to do a lot of the prosecuting and the arresting and stuff out of the general public purview, so that the people of the United States didn't have to wait for 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 years of court cases and justice and military tribunals and court martials and all that. Okay. They had to wake the people up slowly, and as they were waking up the people, what they were doing is they were running the military tribunals behind the scenes and bringing people to justice. Trump's chilling threat after Harris interview catches the FCC's eye. Donald Trump has issued a frightening threat against CBS News after Kamala Harris's 60 Minutes interview. Trump reveals first targets on military hit list in shocking interview. Donald Trump admitted during a Fox News town hall that he has specific names in mind for his plans to have the military go after the enemy from within. We will destroy the deep state, the communists, and the Marxists. I am your warrior. I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. What a beautiful thing. NBC News, 2024 election. Fear grows that Trump will use the military in dictatorial ways if he returns to the White House. Among those being mentioned for Trump's Secretary of Defense are Christopher Miller, who is actually the true Secretary of Defense right now, albeit classified, who served temporarily during his administration, Michael Flynn and Mike Pompeo. It's going to be Christopher Miller. Note the letter Q on President Trump's lapel for an image which he posted on his Truth Social page. So Donald Trump posted this picture on his Truth Social account. And right here, you see the Q? Commander Trump is confirming that he is the commander of the Q plan. Okay. Little comms, little communications that you got to pay attention to. Here's a picture of John Durham, federal prosecutor who's racking up the 495,000 sealed indictments. Bill Clinton jokes about Trump's enemy from within remarks. I want him to transfer me to Guantanamo. Oh, Lord. The Hill, former President Clinton joked about former President Trump's enemy from within comments while at a rally with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz in North Carolina Thursday, the 17th. 17th is Q, 17th letter of the alphabet. Hillary Clinton imposter was also in Durham for her book tour. All these comments being made. Now, John Durham's a federal prosecutor, and now they're making these comments in Durham, North Carolina. And Hillary was in Durham for her book tour. Very funny comms that the military puts out with this stuff. During an interview, she referenced General George Washington crossing the Delaware River. A clear comm for the Durham investigation into child trafficking, because the boat that Washington crossed the Delaware was known as a Durham boat, and it was featured in a Q post. Beautiful comms, beautiful psyops for those of us who know what's going on. There's literally technique sometimes used in novels or films referred to as reverse chronology, in which the story actually begins by presenting the ending and then working backwards. In looking back upon the 5,000 Q posts, in particular the first several from October through November 2017, we can now clearly see that the Q drama utilized this technique, at least in part. Early posts, which may not have made sense to readers back then, certainly do now, as the direct connection between this Times article and certain Q posts is now clearly discernible. Have a look. Excerpt from Q post number 1, October 28th, 2017. Hillary Clinton will be arrested between 7:45 and 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, the morning on October 30th, 2017. U.S. Marines will conduct the operation while the National Guard is activated. From post number 4, October 29th, 2017. Focus on military intelligence, state secrets, and why might that be used versus any three-letter agency. What the Supreme Court decision opened the door for a sitting president to activate what must be showed. Why is POTUS surrounded by generals? Again, there are a lot more good people than bad people, so have faith. This was a hostile takeover from an evil, corrupt network of players, and it wasn't just the demon rats. From post 17, October 31st, 2017, focus on the power of POTUS as it relates to the Marines. How can military intelligence be applied to prosecute bad actors and avoid corrupt agencies and judges? The Military Law of War Manual. That's how. We are under military law. From post number 22, November 1st, 2017. Who controls the National Guard? The President. Why was the National Guard recently activated in select cities within the United States? Can the National Guard work in coordination with the Marines? Yes. Do conditions need to be satisfied to authorize? Yes. From post number 26, November 1st, 2017. Think about it logically. The only way is the military, fully controlled by good, honest people. From post number 32, November 1st, 2017. The initial wave will be fast and meaningful. It will send a signal to others immediately, and you'll see the tide turn. Not even the mainstream media can hide in Rest assured, some will be jailed as deep cover agents. From Post 34, November 1st, 2017. On President of the United States order, a state of temporary military control will be actioned and special ops carried out. We will be initiating the emergency broadcasting system during this time, which was the MARS reference, the military auxiliary radio system. This is the emergency broadcast system. That's what MARS is. From post number 34 or 35, November 1st, 2017. POTUS will be well insulated, protected on Air Force One and abroad. Specific locations classified while these arrest operations are conducted. Pass the popcorn and start stocking up on copies of The Secret Plan to Save Humanity. The formerly closed-minded normies in your life will soon be wanting them. Again, another photo here with his generals and admirals, exactly 9 on one side and 11 on the other. That's a clear reference to the false flag operation of the tragedy in New York City on 9/11. They're going to expose that. Okay. Now again, Jefferson and Jackson. Okay. Read about what Jackson did. Thomas Jefferson, most brilliant legal mind in history. Very clear communications. Donald Trump coming with his military team. Now, also, right here, you see Mike Pence. You see Mike Pence right here, everybody. All right. You need to understand that Mike Pence was a sacrificial lamb on January 6th. Donald Trump said Mike Pence was a very brave man for what he did on January 6th. Mike Pence was the overseer of allowing the deep state to hang themselves to their own death by certifying a stolen election. And he let them dig their own grave. Mike Pence is a God-fearing, blessed patriot who played his part in the movie. One more quick article on Mike King, realnewsandhistory.com. October 17th, 2024, the Anti-New York Times is talking about Kash Patel. Kash Patel his name was brought up as a person to watch. He has been very active in the Q community ever since. New York Times, Kash Patel, the magical rise of a self-described wizard in Trump world. The MAGA loyalist Mr. Patel aims to run the CIA if Donald Trump wins the presidency. Editor's note, a Q post defines wizards as the guardians of intelligence, the white hat good guys. Rebuttal by the Anti-New York Times. On June 12th, 2018, our friend Q dropped the following post. Post number 1481. Kashyap Patel, a name to remember. And the caps for the name Patel are from Q. Now, who the heck is Kashyap Patel, thought the editorial board of the Anti-New York Times. All we could dig up on this unknown at the time was that he was a legal aide to White House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes. And as you might know, Devin Nunes now runs Truth Social, who is now the current CEO of Trump's Truth Social. Beyond that, the only thing that we knew for certain is that Patel would, in due time, become a household name. He did indeed do so within MAGA circles as a Trump national security operative, making the rounds of Fox News as well as openly Q-related podcasts. And now, lo and behold, Kash Patel, who is hardcore Trump and Q and MAGA as he gets, has made it to the front page of the paper of record, the Q New York Times, as a potential soon-to-be head of the black hat turned white hat CIA. From the article, a bombastic former public defender known for his antipathy toward the intelligence agencies, Mr. Patel rose to increasingly powerful national security jobs in the Trump administration. Should Mr. Trump win re-election, Mr. Patel has been mentioned alongside many others as a potential CIA director, attorney general, or if he fails Senate confirmation, a top job on the National Security Council. Now, when this is over, people, the Senate is going to confirm whoever Commander Trump picks, because Donald Trump risked his entire family, his entire life to get our nation where they are. And he knows who he needs to have on the team, on the white hat team, the God-fearing Q operatives. He knows who he needs on the team. The swamp will be gone. All the swamp creatures are going to be in jail, or they're going to be hung. Depending upon how bad their crimes were, they're either going to get the rope or the bars. That's it. There's no other option for them. So everybody, every single solitary person in the new Trump administration is going to be a patriotic, God-fearing, truth-seeking, patriotic American there for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to begin the process of rebuilding our country. Riddle me this, my black-pilled remnant of Q skeptics. How exactly did Q know 6 years ago that this obscure nobody was destined to become a universally known somebody? On the AP World Politics, Kash Patel is pushing conspiracies and his brand. He's poised to help lead a Trump administration. Well, I guess they're conspiracies until they become fact. I want everybody to remember I said this. After the storm hits and is complete, I don't see where anybody can ever use the CIA phrase ever again, conspiracy theory. It's a CIA phrase. When all these so-called conspiracy theories come to reality and are made true, I don't ever want to hear that CIA scum phrase, conspiracy theory, again. Conspiracy theory, or maybe we'll just go right to, that's a conspiracy fact. That's a conspiracy fact. That's a conspiracy fact. Because guess what? It was conspiracy until it became fact. We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government. This is a quote from Kash Patel. But in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied to the American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. Going way back. We're going to come after you, whether it's criminally or civilly. We'll figure that out. We're actually going to use the Constitution to prosecute them for crimes they said, like the Communist Manifesto, that we've always been guilty of but never have been. Accuse your enemy of what you're doing. Karl Marx, the communist. That's what they do. It's from Kash Patel. Here's a picture of his book, Government Gangsters. This is a picture of Trump, Kash Patel, and Trump. Here's a picture, and I've heard Kash Patel on the X22 Report, which is a Q community podcast. Patel, who is an assassination attempt truther, would be the perfect man to preside over either dismantling or the deep internal cleansing of the CIA from top to bottom. That would be in line with a cryptic 2017 statement which the newly inaugurated President Trump made before a crowd at the CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, on his very first full day as president. We may have to get a larger room, you know. This is quoting President Trump. And maybe it will be built by somebody that knows how to build, and we won't have columns. Laughter. You understand that? We get rid of the columns. The term fifth column is defined by Wiki as a group of people who undermine a nation from within, usually in favor of an enemy group or another nation. The activities of a fifth column can be overt or clandestine. Forces gathered in secret can mobilize openly to assist an external attack. Day one, Trump came in. We're going to get rid of the columns. We're going to get rid of the group of people who undermine our nation from within. That's what he said. The term originated during the Spanish Civil War. There was a statement attributed to rebel General Franco in which he had claimed that there were 4 nationalist columns approaching Madrid and that a 5th column was waiting to rise up from the inside. The Trump day one communication about getting rid of columns at the CIA, Q's prophetic forecast of the coming of Kash Patel, and now the front page buzz all about Patel potentially being named CIA director. It's a wonderful thing to behold when a perfect plan comes together so perfectly, isn't it? All told to us verbatim right by Q in the Q plan. Picture number 1, Trump's very first order of business in 2017 was go into the belly of the beast and announce that he would get rid of the columns in the CIA. I like Mike's little comments down at the bottom. Boobus, Normie, Americanist number 1. I read in the New York Times today that Trump may appoint a political loyalist named Kash Patel to head the CIA. Boobus, Americanist Normie number 2. Never heard of him. Saint Sugar, like you said, remember that name, Boobus. Editor's note. Trump's entire authoritarian administration, from top to bottom, will be making America great again. That's it for the Mike King wrap up. So folks, if you like my channel and you like the golden nuggets that we're delivering, please hit like and also subscribe. And also you can comment anything that you want to say or questions that you have down in the comment section, and we'll reply to that. Thank you.